Okay. Alright. Now let's take a look here. Here we have Goys versus Cloudy Smile.
I'm back.
Welcome.
This is semis, right?
This is semis.
What's the other semifinal match?
Huh?
What's the other semifinal?
The other semifinals?
Yeah. Actually,
Well, that one already got played. Okay, alright, we are live now. Give me a sec. Let me just finish some stuff up.
Boy, hello there. So we just get into the game, and then all of us just start spectating at the same time, right?
Uh-huh.
Clicky, clicky, clack. The clickiest of all.
Whoa, whoa, David. Whoa, that's some aggressive typing. Alright, okay.
Just typing regularly. My keyboard's freaking loud, and I don't know. I can't do much about it.
Alright, let's talk about this draft here. So I do have the two teams OPGGs. I will link that to both of you. Actually, I'll put it in games. Alright, here we go.
So this is in order, correct? Oops. This is the roles that they will be playing in?
Yes, I believe it is.
So Eric will be playing jungle.
Yeah, okay.
Just gonna be playing Kane.
Alright, so in the top lane, we do- wait, oh wait, hold on, what's going on here?
That's the, what's it called? Notification for the thing you sent out.
Alright, okay. So we do have in the top lane here, it looks like Luke Claw versus I Dunk You.
Okay.
I
On
Dunk
paper,
You.
it seems like a pretty even matchup.
Right. So in the past games, like in the group stage, we have seen I Dunk You pulling out the Garen as well as the Darius. So I am a little interested to see what he has for us in store today. It looks like those are his two main champions, especially just looking at his OPGG.
Well, both those champions will decent tank into the team. So, as long as they get something else into the team that can pull off engages, like an engagement laner such as Azir, or a support like Alistar, they should be okay against those and should be enough to frontline enough for the team to do enough damage.
Right. I do want to talk about enemy top laner, or not enemy, sorry, what am I saying? Goys top laner, Luke Claw here. He is an actual ADC main. He mains Draven as well as Jhin. But in the group stage, we did see him playing the Malphite and the Scion. So I do believe he will be looking for those tanky kind of passive picks here.
Yeah, I feel like that's the best they can put him on, especially considering his lack of experience in the role.
Right. The ranks are pretty even in the top lane, though.
The ranks are even, but that's assuming the players are on their main roles. It's saying that Luke Claw has been off his role, we can safely assume that he is not gold in that role.
In the jungle matchup, we do have Sydney Jang versus URA. So we did see URA's Kane in the group stages, and we are now jumping into champion select, so let's get started here. So it does look like we have first pick side, Goys. Cloudy Smile on that red side here.
What do you think that Goys will be picking because of the blue side advantage of having the first pick?
Alright, so I'll get to that in a sec, but on the first ban we have Darius from Cloudy Smile. They're taking out Dumping Potato Zed. I do think that the priority here for
the weak fear the shadows,
taking out Irora's Kane. But as far as the left side, so Goys, their priority should definitely be covering around their AD carry X Stormark, as I do think he is their team's best player. He probably wants one of his priority picks, maybe Vayne or Draven.
Or Kaisa, which has just been banned out by his own team. Questionable.
Right. I do think that the Kaisa denial from Sooncheng is not exactly needed here because they were able to first pick that Kaisa, but maybe just they have another first pick kind of up their sleeve here.
Possibly. It's also due to the fact that they are not willing to play Vayne into Kaisa, which is the predominant counter in that pick, which may mean that they're looking to play a more aggressive comp this game.
Definitely. We do see the Jax fan coming out, so I think that maybe for Sydney Jang actually, because I do not think Luke Claw actually plays the Jax, but right, so as I was talking about before, he does want to stick to that Malphite, that kind of comfort pick for him, the passive top laner. I think we will be seeing the top laner coming out from Cloudy Smile, and we actually do, right, the Garen, so they are scared of the Garen getting banned out in Phase 2, because the Darius has already been banned out, and Yura probably maybe looking to pick up, I think, the support or the jungler in this pick here.
I'd say they pick up the support or carry, actually.
Right, definitely. So here's the Pyke coming out. It looks like that Pyke maybe for Ziploc bag.
It's probably going to be towards the support. I don't think we're seeing any jungle. So for some Goys here, they're going to be looking to pick up their bot lane, because Red Team has already shown their hand with the support pick, and there's only so many things that the AD carry can change about that lane. So if they pick their supportive lane here, they can choose the bot lane and then give their mid and jungler the counter pick.
Oh, Vel'Koz here, okay. Alright,
towards Andrew.
I wanted to see this pick coming out from Dumping Potato because we did see it in their match against Team Forever Bronze, and Dumping Potato had a lot of success on this champion. I think he went 10-2 and 14 or something along the lines, but he had an outstanding performance on this champion, and I think he is going to be able to stand up to Sickdot on the signature pick here. But Sickdot
Twisted Fate coming in
picking
with
for that Twisted Fate, right? Definitely. That wave clear is ideally what you want against Vel'Koz, who can just kind of clear the lane with 1 or 2 Ws. But,
so for Red Team, they're going to be looking to ban supports and junglers here, try and pinch. I say you want to ban more towards the support role, get that bot lane priority, try and get that advantage against the weaker early game of the Vayne.
Definitely. So we see 2 support bans coming out. Morgana and Alistar, both really strong picks here. We did see in the first phase that Vayne was picked up for Goys, so X Stormark going on for that kind of comfort pick here. Maybe not confident enough to pull out the Draven just yet, but I do think that his Vayne is a very stable pick here.
I think out of the AD carries in the tournament, X Stormark's Vayne is probably one of the best in terms of comparison, but it also shows a lot that they're willing to pick Vayne without also picking their support.
So Yasuo actually coming out from the side of Cloudy Smile. I do think that is for the top lane, or I'm not actually sure what that Yasuo ban is, because Goys have shown their Vel'Koz and their Malphite.
I believe that they banned Yasuo in terms of mid lane, because I believe they thought the Vel'Koz would be going towards the support role.
Right, maybe they thought that Vel'Koz was for the support, but Xayah, the last ban for this champ select here.
In terms of bans, I'd say that Red Team kind of came out ahead. They sort of pinched the roles of the Blue Team more, picking these champions that Blue Team would be more favored into, opposed to Blue Team banning out Solidity carries when there's still the jungler up, and I feel like that the jungler is probably what you want to be pinching towards, since that jungler is the star player of the enemy team.
Right. I definitely do like this the Twitch
Never.
pick coming out from Suncheng here, because I feel that with the Garen and the Twisted Fate, your late game damage kind of starts to fall off. I'm not entirely sure about the Pyke Twitch lane. I do think that Twitch has a lot safer lane with someone like maybe a Janna or a Lulu or even a Braum here. Not quite sure that Pyke was the pick they're looking for.
For blue team, if they decide to lock in this Braum, that means that they are willing to give up the laning phase, willing to just farm up until 25 minutes and get Vayne those items. Xin Zhao will most likely be hovering towards the mid lane this game, considering that TF is mostly immobile. It looks like they are hovering, red team will be hovering Rakan, actually.
Oh, so this is actually a Pyke jungle. Alright. I definitely do like this Xin Zhao pick here, because the Vayne and the Vel'Koz do take time to scale, but Xin Zhao should be able to outpressure this Pyke jungle. But I'm actually really surprised here that it is a Pyke jungle. They have opted for the Rakan for the Twitch. Rakan should be able to peel off the Xin Zhao Malphite dive. It all depends on if Ziploc Bag chooses to go for that kind of hard engage playstyle, or perhaps the more appealing playstyle.
So in terms of team comps, blue team has a very standard team comp. They have those two tanks with Malphite and Braum. They have the bruiser jungler looking to try and make plays happen around the map. And they have these two carries that they're willing to let backline and just deal damage as much as possible. But on red team, you do see the Pyke jungle and the Recon support along with the mid lane TF. So you're looking at a team that's really looking to be proactive, trying to make these plays around the map, and just sort of get these leads in the early game and snowball this game out of control. So this game really just comes down to execution. If red team can make those plays happen early, they will be able to get a sizable lead, and if they can snowball that into a win, this will be a very commanding victory. But if blue team can just stall it out, then it's possible that they can just get these late game team fights and just brute force their way through to the red team nexus.
Alright, so we will be having the spectator delay here, just 3 quick minutes. And I do want to talk about this kind of this mid-jungle skirmish that we have here, because we, on the side of Goys, we do have the Vel'Koz Xin Zhao, and Vel'Koz is notoriously good at pushing his laners in. He can clear that lane so quickly with just 1 or 2 Ws, and Xin Zhao should be able to exert his early pressure over Pyke. I do think that Sydney Jang should have no problem dueling Yura in the early levels. I don't think that Pyke can actually stand up to Xin Zhao's base damage or his HP. So Sigdot wants to shove his lane more so than Dumping Potato, but I don't think that the Twisted Fate can actually match Dumping Potato's laning.
Yeah, that's the real interesting part here. They picked Pyke Twisted Fate, and the way that red team is drafted is that they're looking for a very early game proactive team with these very mobile damage dealers in the Pyke and the Rakan. But what really interesting is that they've picked Twisted Fate, who really isn't an early game champion. He's more of a roamer, and Twitch, who really takes time to scale. So in having that kind of discourse between the jungle and mid, they're sort of showing that while we do want to make these happen, we are willing to let the first 10 minutes of the game play out. And if these 10 minutes go even or our way, we are willing to make these plays that just sort of snowball us into a command lead.
Right. I do think that in the top lane, I think you should have the early lane pressure over Luclaw for sure, that Garen Malphite matchup. At the same time, Sydney Jang having that early jungle pressure, I feel if IDunQ were to extend perhaps past that middle lane or so, that he should be able to punish really easily.
Yeah, well, the thing with Garen is that his passive on his W will reduce any form of CC that he experiences, and top lane, the problem with blue team's duo with the top and jungle is that the only form of hard CC they really have is the Xin Zhao knockup, and if Garen times his W to soak up that knockup with the extra tenacity, he should be safe enough to get out of that lane so long as he's not horrendously overextended.
I definitely do think that both teams are really looking for a kind of late game scaling here, especially beside of Goys with the Vel'Koz and Vayne pick. Both extremely late game champions. They do scale pretty well into the mid game, but the real power spikes come with those third items, fourth items. For Vayne, maybe the Ginsus as well as the IE.
That's the thing. Both of these teams did draft heavily towards late game. They both have late game carries and the Twisted Fate and the sorry, not Twisted Fate, and the Twitch and the Vayne. But they really drafted different approaches to how they get to that late game. Blue team drafted a very slow, turtle-ish kind of comp. They're willing to just hug their base and turrets until they get these item spikes, and then they're willing to just start calling these fights, where red team are looking to be much more proactive in the early to mid game and trying to hit these item spikes faster.
Now we can talk about rune choices here. I do want to talk about URA's choice for opting into Dark Harvest, right? So Dark Harvest, obviously the weaker rune in the early game when compared with Electrocute. But once you start hitting those kind of like, I want to say 50 to 60 stacks on that Dark Harvest, you do start to see some noticeable improvement over Electrocute. And I do think that as Pyke, I am a little bit surprised as to him not running Aftershock or the Electrocute over the Dark Harvest. I do think that Pyke's, while his early game may not be as strong as Xin Zhao's, he does have a lot of early gank potential, especially with the W. And
adding on that, Dark Harvest is really a rune that's taken on champions that like to farm out the jungle, you know? People like Jarvan the Fourth, Kha'Zix, these champions who can just take out the jungle camps pretty quickly and go on with their daily routes without losing too much in advance. Pyke really isn't one of those junglers. He's one of those junglers where he'll try to get level 3, level 6 early as possible, and then he'll start looking for the map.
Right, definitely. I do think that a lot of the focus here should be on this mid 2v2 skirmish, especially with both of the mids having this kind of lane pushing potential. And we are going to be hopping into game right now. Alright, so we have Goys on blue side, and we have Cloudy Smile on the red side. In the top lane, we have Luke Claw on Malphite versus IDunQ. In the jungle, Sydney Jang on Xin Zhao versus URA on Pyke. We have in the mid lane, Dumping Potato on Vel'Koz and Sick Dot on Twisted Fate.
In the carry role, we have Extormark on Vayne with Soon Chang. Rounding out both teams on support will be Scramble on Braum with Ziploc back on the Rakan.
And time controls are still bugged, so we will just have to leave this one up there, unfortunately.
My game is also crashed, so good job, League of Legends, right? You're making an amazing games. Small indie company.
Lol. I'll give you the timestamp when you load in. Alright, so we do have the traditional... Alright, okay, I am at 42 seconds now. 43, 44, 45. Okay. Alright, okay, so we do have a traditional 5-point stance here. It does look like URA is going to be starting on his red side here. I do think that is an interesting choice. Feel that if you are starting the red side, you're definitely looking for an early gank onto the top or mid lane.
When you look at these top laners, what do you think about their decisions to not take Corrupting Pot? I know that a lot of the top lane tanks have been taking Corrupting Pot to abuse the Time Work Tonic rune in the Inspiration tree.
I do think that on Garen for IDunQ, Time Warp Tonic is not the most efficient option, especially because Garen is a champion that does not actually use mana. As far as Luke Claw on Malphite, I do think that Doran's Shield isn't the worst start you could have against a champion like Garen, because you do want that passive healing. Alright, so Sydney Jang taking his red. It looks like URA is actually a little bit behind, and that is only to be because of the fact that he is lacking within a bot lane leash.
What do you think of URA starting red buff instead of getting the bigger bot lane leash that he would have received?
Right, if URA is... I think that the reason URA is starting the red buff is because he's looking not for these early skirmishes with Sydney Jing. I think he knows Pyke, and he knows that he can't really stand up to Xin Zhao's early pressure, so he wants to have this kind of opposite jungling going on here. And as we saw earlier... Extormark moving up here pretty aggressively onto Cloudy Smile's bot lane. But I do want to point out that in the bot lane river, Cloudy Smile dropped a ward on top of the crab, and that's because URA was starting the top side red, and he wanted to make sure that he had vision of that crab, and Sydney Jang would be able to take it. So now we do see that the junglers are trading the top and bot crab, which is pretty much ideal, for Ura because he doesn't actually have to meet Sydney Jing in the early game.
Right. I want to bring attention to a point down here in bot lane. Twitch started Doran's Blade, and that means that he is basically saying that he's looking to make plays happen here. He wants that extra AD to try and skirmish a bit more. What he is also saying is that I am willing to call my jungler down here, and we will be able to try and make some plays happen.
Oh, so we do see Sydney Jing moving in
have
aggressively here onto Sick Dot. Sick Dot forced to use that flash. Doesn't look like the kill will be going over, but that is Sick Dot down both his potions and flash.
Yeah, that's really important for blue team because Twisted Fate does not have that much mobility outside of this flash, and getting this flash down earlier on means that Sydney Jane can make that return gank into mid lane and get a free kill if he suicides, and it looks like that's what he's trying to do right here as he's roaming around the topside river of mid lane, trying to get an open.
Ura just about clearing his raptors here.
In terms of top lane, the disparity isn't very large concerning what we thought it would have been.
Alright, so we do see Ura moving
CS.
in pretty aggressively here. He chose not to pop the W. It looks like Luke Claw will kind of just be walking out of this one. I don't actually expect Luke Claw to fall here. I don't think they have the damage to back it up. And he does get that Grasp of the Undying proc. Something that I do want to talk about here is that both mid laners opted for Minion Dematerializer and Stopwatch. What's your thought on that?
So the stoppage is pretty simple to me. You have two aggressive junglers and they will be looking mid, since that's the type of sort of breaking point of this matchup where whoever gains control of mid kind of takes over the rest of the early mid game. The Dematerializer is simply because both of these mid laners want to get that wave clear. The extra damage you get from these Dematerializers helps a lot with that. So what both of these mid laners are trying to do is stay safe, stay alive, to try and prevent these enemy junglers from killing them, and get these Dematerializers off to clear the wave so that they can always have priority. Looks like we're gonna have a pause here. Blue team having a computer crash issue.
Okay. Alright, so in the meantime for this pause, I do want to talk about this mid lane buy here. So Sick Dot going back for that Catalyst early. That's a pretty standard start on Twisted Fate, I think. Looking for that Rod of Ages to stack as fast as possible.
What do you think of the possibility that this goes into a Abyssal Mask, considering that gives him some form of tankiness and that also allows him to sort of withstand that all-in burst from Malphite?
Abyssal Mask.
0%.
Yeah, I don't think Abyssal Mask is the... Maybe for the Vel'Koz, but aside from that, I don't think it has much utility here. I think the best item that you are looking for, though, is not armor. I think you are looking for magic resist definitely against Dumping Potato, purely because of the fact that X-Stormic is looking to do on-hit damage with the Vayne W.
I think important stats for a red team here are health and armor. Since I don't think MR will be doing that much against Dumping Potato because he'll be able to get that true damage proc due to his passive. So the armor will be very necessary for the Xin Zhao, the Vayne, and the HP will be so that you can soak up that damage from the passive of Vel'Koz. We do see in bot lane that despite being a weak early game pick with low range, Vayne is up in CS by 10, which may not seem a lot, but it's quite a statement considering that Vayne and Braum have
alright, so we do see Sick Dot flashless here, looking to get ganked by Sydney Jing. Sydney Jing is stunned up, but URL looking to pop that stun really aggressively here. Forced to flash out. Sydney Jing uses his flash defensively as well. URL in the pop pursuit though. It looks like he should be able to pop First Blood here. But you are so low. Dies to the Arcane Comet. Dumping Potato versus Sick Dot here. Dumping Potato does not have his ultimate yet. It looks like it will be a 1-for-1.
Yeah, that really was kind of a strange fight, really. Xin Zhao and Vel'Koz kind of looking for something to happen in the top river, but when you see that the enemy mid laner is so close to hitting 6, you have to really ask yourself, should you just wait for Vel'Koz to hit 6? Because if Vel'Koz hits 6 and then you go for this play, you get a very different looking outcome from what had happened.
And this does go back to what we were talking about in that early game. We talked about how there were going to be these 2v2 skirmishes because both of these mid laners have insane wave clear. We see now that Dumping Potato actually has both of his summoners. Sickdot down both of his.
And another important thing to notice here is that the kills went on to Dumping Potato and URA, which is kind of skewed considering that you wanted that kill to go onto Sickdot. But I understand that in that situation, the only way they'd get something out of it is if URA would go in and get the Q. But Dumping Potato will be up his summoners, he'll be up in gold due to having that extra kill versus the assist.
I do want to talk about this jungle CS gap that's starting to form. You do see that Sydney Jang was able to pick up this first respawn top crab over Yura.
Yeah, and I think this is just due to pathing, really. I feel like that Xin Zhao being a more conventional jungler and having better ways to clear the jungle is really having more options into how he wants to go through.
Oh, we see here in the bot lane, you see Scramwell moving up into Yura's jungle, the ping's coming down. It looks like Yura should be able to get this blue pretty cleanly, but both junglers are now on their bot side here.
And take notice that Red team does not have the bottom third warded except for that one opening in the mid-upper pixel brush. So Sydney Jang is going to be
into
under
this mid lane here. Sickdot is pretty extended. He does have a splash back up actually. It's coming up in like 5 seconds, but oh, 5 seconds too late. Oh my goodness, that is a kill for Dumping Potato. And things are starting to look really good for Goys, a mid laner.
And this is what you want to see from blue team. You want to see the mid lane Vel'Koz getting ahead. This is the crux of your entire team comp. You get this mid lane ahead, you can put pressure onto every
and now Dumping Potato moving on to Yura on his blue buff here. Yura, woo! Forced to pop that W, but he does not have smite. This blue might actually go over to Dumping Potato. It does not. It goes to 19 HP. And now Yura looking to chase Dumping Potato. Doesn't have the follow-up quite. Yes.
I think that was a good attempt. I mean, you just took out the mid laner. You know where the jungler is due to having wards in the enemy jungle and having Braum scout that out. So I think that having Dumping Potato walk up, try to take that blue buff while his bot lane does have priority in the lane is a smart decision. I personally would have preferred if he just pushed out the wave and back, so you spent that gold that he got from the kill.
Right.
But this isn't too bad of an alternative.
Dumping Potato is sitting on 1,300 gold here, so if he were to
have a fight in the jungle topside, Sydney Jang versus Yura.
Ooh, the ultimate coming out from Sickdot. Sydney Jang a little bit too far up here. Looks like the kill should be going over to Yura. No assist
going over to Sickdot.
For Sickdot quite yet.
Kind of disappointing, but then again, it's still much needed gold back in the pockets of Red Team. Yura getting some good old gold into his pockets, which is going to be important because he's going to be looking around the map trying to make some plays happen now that he has ultimate up.
And we see X-Stormark is maintaining his about 10 CS lead over Sunshine. Oh, X-Stormark! Whoa, moving up really aggressively here. Ziploc Bag tried to get an attempt there onto an engage. Now X-Stormark, you pop that ultimate. Ziploc Bag using the charming as well, but the damage is just too much for the Vayne. X-Stormark falling here to Ziploc Bag's Ignite.
Yeah,
now Dumping Potato and Sickdot maybe looking for an all-in here. Dumping Potato uses the cleanse a little bit late on that stun.
Definitely not the outcome that you wanted to see when you come bot lane. I definitely see that.
Whoa, Sickdot! Not quite the flash we were looking for there. Whoa! The question mark ping does come out from Dumping Potato. Sickdot flash there, stun the minion, within fighting range. I did like that preemptive flash from Dumping Potato, was able to dodge Yura's ultimate. Now Yura kind of looking at these Raptors over here, seeing if he can gank for his mid laner.
But the thing to take away from this is that now both mid laners are once again without their flashes.
Definitely.
So both junglers will be looking to make a play happen here. If we just look at the gold, we can see that even though Vel'Koz is 2 kills up, Sickdot still is 300 gold up onto this Vel'Koz. Though Vel'Koz does have 1700 gold standing, so he'll be looking to back and try to finish off his first item here.
And I do want to talk about how X-Stormark actually died in the bottom lane. Because as a result of that death, he basically has lost all of his lane pressure here, because as you can see, the lane positioning right now is really far in to the side of Cloudy Smiles. So URA should probably be looking for a bot lane gank here. They do. Big Goys does have a control ward in that bottom river, but that is about it. If URA were able to go over the Dragon Wall and get onto that Tribush, he should have a really clean gank here.
Another option that he can do is that he still does have the stealth depth from his W. So what he could do is he could try to just walk in through lane and have the Rakan engage with the flash RW combo.
Alright, so this is what I was talking about before. Did you see that URA was looking to get over that Dragon Wall? Not quite though.
If we look across the board, we can see that mid lane for Sickdot is still up 10 CS onto Dumping Potato, which is really interesting considering the Dumping Potato has basically had all the advantages in this lane. He's had both ganks, he's had both kills, but if you look at the gold charts, you can still see that Sickdot is up 200 gold, and that's really important considering that Sickdot can start looking around the map with his ultimate now, and he can try to make plays happen. More importantly, his bot lane has achieved a lead, so if he decides to ulti down to the bot lane, stand that lane, then this lane can easily snowball out of control. But it looks like Dumping Potato is going to be ulting onto Sickdot. Nothing too much going to be out. He's going to be sent down to low HP and just forced to back.
So Dumping Potato probably is going to be able to plant a wave on top there. He actually denies Sickdot back once again. And not Scramwell, Sydney Jang solo that Infernal Dragon. I'm really surprised. Okay, now we have a really big fight here. URA picking up the first kill. Is able to get that reset. The teleport from the Malphite not quite coming down.
So that's a big cooldown coming out of blue team. Malphite's teleport is basically a statement saying that not only is Malphite coming, that he has ultimate and he's willing to turn the fight. With Malphite ulti or teleport down, that basically means Malphite will basically have 0 game impact unless he decides to leave lane, at which I think iDunkU will be able to just push in the lane and try to get some damage on that turret.
It actually does look like iDunkU silenced Luke Claw's teleport, because Luke Claw was just about looking to complete that teleport.
If you look across the board and Summoner's Spirit, you can see that both mid laners are still down their flash, and in top lane, the big noticeable thing here is that iDunkU does have teleport. That means that he's looking around the map trying to make plays, and he does have lane pressure, so if red team can try to make a play happen bot lane, iDunkU will be able to assist them in that. Right now we see URA getting a gank on the top side.
Luke Claw is a little bit out of position, but he does have the Unstoppable Force
to be out of the lane.
And no teleport to get back to the lane.
Yeah. I can see that URA is trying to get this top lane rolling, trying to get this Garen into a position where he can just sort of take on that 1v1. Garen's gonna be taking a bit of damage here.
So we now see that URA is in that top lane Fog of War.
URA's getting surrounded by blue team. Dumping Potato is
They actually don't have vision of him, and now they do.
See how Sydney Jang. Dumping Potato's not turning around, but he's going straight for iDunkU. iDunkU's gonna be doing.
Whoa, iDunkU pulling out the fancy moves here.
Uses the ultimate,
like he should
manages
be able
to
on
iDunkU in the jungle. We see that Sydney Jang is trying to get a kill onto URA, but URA is gonna be getting out due to his stealth on his W. See that Luke Claw is here, but he doesn't have his ultimate. Sickdot does have the stun, does have the damage onto Sydney Jang. It looks like he's going to be trying to take that down, but it doesn't look like they have enough damage here. URA is going to be trying to get into ult range, but it doesn't look like they'll be able to pick it up. Dumping Potato's actually.
And if Sickdot actually chooses to pursue here, we do have Dumping Potato coming down from that top lane.
Ulti whiffed. URA doesn't have his spike ultimate anymore.
Oh, Luke Claw cancels the auto onto the blast
card. Sydney Jang goes back over the wall, goes onto Sickdot. Sickdot doesn't pull the gold card. It looks like Sickdot is actually going to be able to turn it around. Nope, Sydney Jang does do hit blast card.
It looks like teleport coming out from iDunkU. Another kill picked up by URA, and Dumping Potato is going to go down as well. That ends up being a 1 for 3 for the side of Cloudy Smile.
Yeah, disaster for blue team. Like, that looked so good for them. Dumping Potato had priority on the river. URA was cut off from the rest of its team, but Dumping Potato deciding to instead go for iDunkU.
Oh, and now here comes Ziploc back with the ultimate.
Brock trying to put the shield up, gets the ulti down. Twitch actually getting stunned. He looks like Twitch might go down. One more auto attack, he goes down. It looks like stun is going to be procced onto Ziploc bag now. Rakan has nowhere else to go. He's going to be taken down by the main. Third proc, double kill over to blue team.
Really nice preemptive tumble from Vayne there. He actually was able to dodge the ultimate. And now we see this return strike from the crossplay side, or the cross map side coming out from Goys. do see Uara in this bottom river here, along with Sigdot. Maybe Sigdot looking to pick up that bottom lane.
I don't think he was going to pick up
right
first
there.
turret here in the top lane.
Not if Dumping Potato has something to say about it, and he doesn't.
He'll not be able to get anything in return here, I don't think.
Alright, so we do kind of see how this gold lead has shifted over from the mid lane, but before I can talk about that, Luke Claw is going really aggressively here onto Sigdot. Sigdot has the gold card.
Does have ultimate. Unstoppable Force is up and ready. Goes in.
Using
Sydney
it
Jake's
before that flash will come out. Sigdot should fall here, but forced to pop that stopwatch. Whoa, it doesn't look like they have the damage. Here comes URO with the reset.
Go onto the fight. It looks like finally Goys bot lane will be able to return kills here.
Stormark and Scramble maybe looking for something
here. He's going to be forced out of this fight. Soonchain is going to get a third kill onto Stormark. It's going to be a fourth onto Scramble. This could be an ace for Red Team. 5 for 1. And that looks like Red Team has pulled themselves considerably into the lead. 5k gold lead and complete pressure on the bot side of the map.
And I'm really disappointed at how Goys actually played that fight. They were so split from the start because Luke Claw actually pursuing Sigdot into enemy jungle without any vision. He did not know if Yura was there to back him up. He did not consider the fact that Soonchang and Ziploc Bag were able to roam forward, and he just kind of kept chasing and eventually used the Unstoppable Force on a single target instead of waiting for more people to show up. And that ends up with Luke Claw and Sydney Jang both getting punished for pursuing Sigdot that far.
Not only that, but they didn't call out that bot lane did not have priority over the situation, as Soonchang and Ziploc Bag were able to get to that fight much quicker than Stormark and Scramble. So a huge fight going over to Red Team, much gold into their pockets. And it was like, remember, the pre-win condition of this match was that if Red Team had got a lead in terms of gold kills and experience, they'd be able to snowball that into a win. So if they managed to get another big team fight win, Blue Team could find themselves into real dire straits.
Alright, so you are looking for picks here with that hook. Not finding anything yet, but it looks like this tower should be going down here. And I think that the best move here for Cloudy Smile would be to gank this bot lane because they are... Goys is down that tier 3 outer. They should be able to 5-man dive this all the way into the tier 2 tower, but it looks like the call is going down for the Cloud Dragon here.
Much less riskier play, get the Cloud Dragon, get that sort of scaling until they manage to pick up, backs off, reset the map, and try to set up pressure around the next objective, which would be either one of the inner turrets or around Rift Herald.
Right, that Cloud Dragon going over to Cloudy Smile. I personally, I would have liked to see this bot lane dive onto Stormark and Scramble. I do think that with the 3-man advantage that Cloudy Smile had, they shouldn't have actually dropped any members. I do think it would have been a relatively clean fight there. 2 free kills, but maybe not quite confident enough to go for that.
In Cloudy Smile's defense, they are lacking vision into the Goys jungle. There's relatively zero vision in terms of what they can see from them, so they didn't really have any idea of where the jungler, mid laner, nor the top laner was, so they had decided to go for that fight. And Luke Claude
so now we do see Sydney Jang moving into this tri-bush. It doesn't look like he knows that it's warded. So Cloudy Smile has vision of, oh, whoa. So Ziploc Bag now caught out by Sydney Jang. Looks like he should be able to dash over to his AD carry for safety.
Yep, looks like it's going to be the end of that. Nothing too big coming out of that little skirmish.
Right, but if you start moving your vision over onto the side of Goys, we do see that they have almost no vision in their topside jungle or both of the rivers. All of their vision is kind of concentrated onto this bot side. So when I see Luke Cloud pushing up like this, I don't think it's the best move that he could make here.
Yeah, especially with that turret down, Red Team could easily just go in behind him and try to get that flank off. Even though he's pretty tanky, it wouldn't be that difficult to just run down the lane and just take that free kill. But it looks like Red Team are looking to try and make something happen towards the bot side, trying to get that lead and just extend it even further ahead. Luke Claw trying to get some damage onto the turret. He's pretty tanky, so I don't think
he does get that demolished, Buck. Oh, it looks
He's
like he will
taking
be having to tank turret
Will be
here.
taken down below.
Whoa, here comes Sigdot. He does have the ultimate, so here it comes. The teleport from Sigdot, the flash following up. The gold card's done. And that is a dead Malphite.
Yeah, Sidney J, not really much he can do there trying to dissuade anything else happening, but his presence is pretty much minute at this point without that phage being completed into Infinity Force.
Right, if you look at the
URA
gold
gonna
here,
be
so,
able to
okay,
catch up
URA
Sidney J into
moving
the
it
jungle.
really aggressively
Sidney J
here
takes
into
him down to the half
blue side
HP.
jungle.
Missed the ultimate Sidney J for the flash, and it looks like that's going to be the end of that. Soon Chang looking to try and find something with the stealth here down bot side, but it doesn't look like anything else is going to be happening here.
It was a pretty nice preemptive flash from Sidney Jing, but that is just a flash traded for an ultimate. Once again, that's like a 60-second cooldown for Ura for Sidney Jing's 5-minute flash.
They're going to stop the backs of Ziploc back. Here's Soon Chang going back into still trying to find a repeat on the display. If they manage to find a play where Stormwick is isolated from the support, they could try and get another kill here and extend that lead. But I feel like the priority of this match right now should be trying to equalize all the lanes, farm until you get that 2-3 item spike. And once you do that, try looking for fights as a team using Luke Claw's unstoppable force as the Malphite and following up with the disintegration ray with Vel'Koz.
And now we do see that Goys actually only have 2 wards on the map up. They have 1 ward in their bot side next to their red buff, and they have 1 ward in the bot lane bush, which really doesn't do much here.
Yeah, and then you compare that with the wards that red team have. Blue team's bottom jungle is basically all lit up. There's wards in every nook and cranny there. So if blue team finds themselves into a situation that red team seems to think is favorable to them, they will jump on this knowing that they have complete and utter control of the situation. So URA trying to find a pick, constant dumping potato here, this is the Q. URA managing to dissuade him from doing anything else. 4 people being invested into this bot lane from both teams, it seems. Well, trying to just dissuade IQ from pushing this wave up further. If we look at bot lane, we can see that Sidney Jang is actually trying to make something happen hiding in this lane bush. So Stormwick and Scramble want to make this.
Oh, okay, Ziploc back going aggressively here, but here comes Sidney Jing. The nice second dash coming out from Ziploc bad to disengage.
Twitch not going to be able to take that 4th hit and it's done, so it looks like bot lane going to be perfectly fine, but it looks like Dumping Potato's going to be taken down. That's going to be a kill.
Here comes Ziploc bag with the ultimate. Whoa, very nice kiting by Stormer here, and Ziploc bag should be the second fall.
Ziploc finally goes in with the TF ultimate, but it doesn't look like he's going to be able to get on this Stormer. Gray still has the ultimate up. He's going to be able to try to find something. This is the ultimate. That's down now. Ziploc trying to this and get the gold card.
And this actually should be a 1 fight for the side of Goys.
That's going to be a 4th kill for Stormer, and it should be the 5th and final, an unofficial pentakill going over to Stormer in this extended bot lane fight.
Really well played there from Stormer. That was really, really impressive movement. He was able to first get some damage down onto Ziploc bag, and then Sidney Jang, Stormer, and Scramble all disengaging because of Soon Chang's spray and pray damage. Then as they back out here, Stormmark was able to tumble out of Ziploc bag's ultimate engage.
Yeah, and if you're blue team, this is a really big morale boost. Because this shows that you can still win these team fights if you do manage to get these. That wasn't even a favorable engage. This all started when Rakan tried to get onto Vayne. And he just... Stormmark took it upon himself to just win that fight, just 1v everybody actually. And just now, matching the single out Soon Chang.
In the ADC gold, we are looking at a 2,000 gold lead from Stormmark. He goes home and buys that rapid fire cannon right off the bat. Red buff going over to the AD carry as well.
Red team trying to start this dragon, but as you can see, 4 members of blue team are here.
Whoa, Sidney Jang going in aggressively here. Pop that boss down. But look at Soon Chang here, moving over in the...
Soon Chang's trying to pressure off the top of the river, but it doesn't come out of this. Ziploc back goes in with the ultimate, jumps out, gets a 2-man knock, goes under double, pick up the deadly potato, doesn't go down. Soon Chang's trying to get 2 people down with the threat attack. But then
that is a reset for URN, not quite landing the second ultimate.
Sidney manages to go down. Sick Dog gets the TF ultimate, but he doesn't manage to get another kill. It looks like it's just going to be 1-for-1 right now. Stormmark trying to find something in return, but it doesn't look like anything else is going to be down. 1-for-1 and a dragon for the team of red. That was a really weird fight, if you think about it. It all started with Sydney Jang just blast going into the Dragon Blade.
Right, and X-Stormer wasn't necessarily in the best position there. He was really secluded from that fight, and Sydney Jang first initially using the Blast Wind to hop over, and then he had to disengage from that fight, but now X-Stormer caught out by 3 members. Sucheng still has his ultimate, or does not have his ultimate available. Really nice ultimate from Luklaw. X-Stormer might actually fall down to that poison, and he does!
Finally does go down. Sucheng managed to pick up the kill, gets the triumph. This doesn't look like he's going to be able to go down. Sydney Jang goes on to Sucheng. Sucheng goes down, followed by Ziploc back soon after. Sydney Jang, they're turning this around. 2v1. Idonq managed to pick up the kill onto Sydney Jang, but it looks like Samurai will be able to join this fight. So Idonq will be forced to take down, and that's going to be a 3rd kill.
But here comes Sikdot. Sikdot coming down this bottom river.
Sikdot does not have ultimate though.
Right.
They're backing on a weird though, so if they decide to go on this. No, doesn't look like anything else, and it looks like it's gonna just end there. 2 for 3 with another kill going down to not X-Stormer. 2 kills going to blue team. 1 X-Stormer and 1 for Silver.
Alright, so X-Stormer and Scramble a little bit overextended there, not quite in the best position. I do want to point out that as of now, Sucheng should be out-damaging X-Storm even with the gold deficit because of the fact that Sucheng has his Infinity Edge finished as well as the Ruined Hurricane. With that ultimate, he should be able to easily shred through Dumping Potato and X-Storm.
I want to bring attention to Yorui's build here. He has a Storm Razor and it does play pickup. So what he's trying to do here is that he's going to be able to dive on. He's basically roleplay Nocturne in this game. He's going to be trying to dive onto back lane, get a Q auto attack off, and try to ulti them, just take him down from that much damage. But again, you do have the massive tanks sitting in Scramwow and Luklaw. 5 members of blue team stacking up mid lane. It looks like red team's going to be trying to respond to another 5 men here of their own. But if this team fight plays out in how it should, blue team should come out ahead, considering that they do have a massive lead in the early game, late game draft.
Alright, and now we are starting to see this mid lane difference. We see that Sikdot is now level 16, has 3 points in his ultimate, whereas Dumping Potato still stuck on level 14, even though the CS isn't that different. There's only a 10 CS gap here in the mid lane. And that's just a result of Sikdot's superior macro play here. He's able to roam, get these ultimates off in the top lane, maybe look for a gank on Luklaw, or maybe look for a gank in the bot lane, and moving around the jungle really well with URA for those 2v2 skirmishes.
Yeah, and if you look across the board, red team has a gold lead in every single one of their roles, except topside. In jungle, URA has a 3,000 gold lead up on Sydney Jang. In the mid lane, Sikdot does have a 1,000 gold lead on Sikdot.
Whoa, and URA catching out Luklaw, able to toss him back here.
Out of this, but he's silent. He's gonna be stunned. That's gonna be the ulti down. That's gonna be Luklaw going down. Red team might just take Baron off of this.
Right, and this Baron, it looks like the call is coming down. Alright, okay, so Baron is started by red team, and I do not think that Goys has vision of this. They now do with the blue trinket.
Now, but I don't think they're going to be able to contest that. I think they're just going to try to go for mid lane turret, try to get a trade off of this.
They should actually be able to pick up Ziploc back here. No W? Oh, but X-Stormer not choosing to engage here. But here comes the rest of red team from the backside. Sucheng still has an ultimate. This is looking so bad for Goys.
Sikdot has ultimate.
Whoa, you are first catching out Scramble here, and now Sucheng with that ultimate. Whoa, his positioning.
Down immediately. The Ure is going to get a return kill onto Stormmark. That's going to be another kill for Sikdot, and it looks like it's just going to be a clean wipe. A 5-for-1 in favor of red team, and it looks like they're going to take down the mid turret and just go down straight on to take that in here. Really messy fight there. Sucheng tossing himself into the middle of all that, and blue team not really respecting the damage coming out of red team there. Luklaw is up. I don't think he'll be able to defend this though.
This should be a clean mid inhib, yeah.
Don't mind their AD carry, it's not down, but I don't think they'll need it inhib going down for red team. And it looks like they'll be rotating over to bot lane, trying to take another turret in return.
I do want to talk about Sucheng's positioning that fight here. He actually ambushed, went down the bottom river, and then went into the middle of the entire fight. amongst 4 players. And even though he did that, it still took Goys like 2 seconds to actually collapse and kill Sooncheng.
I want to bring up a point here, and that being that Sooncheng is all cut up like Stormark in terms of gold now. Like, all those kills in the early game, it's basically minute now due to that Baron play and that mid lane team fight.
Stormark is actually sitting on 2,000 gold here, so that's 2,000 gold he has yet to spend. I do not think that is enough for the Infinity Edge.
He has 2,100 now, so that's enough.
Oh, 2,100 is enough. Okay, there we go. So he should be looking for the base here, looking to buy that Infinity Edge. But even then, Twitch just outclasses Vayne so much as a late game AD carry because of that ultimate. Sure, in a 1v1 scenario, there's no way that Twitch is able to beat Vayne. But in team fights, there's just so much of a difference between them. It's so polarizing.
That's the thing. Vayne's job isn't to take out Twitch. Vayne's job is to take out this massive Garen that's going to be gunning you down. Vel'Koz's job is going to be trying to take out... It looks like there's going to be another fight in the jungle. Yuri trying to get a hook off here, but it doesn't look like anything's going to come out of it. Blue Team trying to get some vision into their own jungle, but it looks like Red's going to have any of it. They're going to get another turret down here, and it looks like Red Team trying to advance their lead even further ahead.
Alright, so we see almost... There's no vision anymore on the side of Goys in their bottom lane jungle. They actually do not have a single ward down. There's 1 ward down in their top side jungle and 1 ward in their bottom lane bush. But aside from that, that's it. And there's no more objectives for Red Team to actually take advantage of either. The Baron is down, the Dragon is down, so there's only... I don't agree with this rotation into the top lane. I think they should have kept pressuring this bottom lane here and potentially look for that the inhib tower in the bottom lane.
So what Red Team should be looking to do here is try to split up the Blue Team. What they should do is try to set up a 1-3-1 split push. You have this TF who has a global ultimate who can get into team fights whenever they start. You have Spike who's almost impossible to get a beat on. If you force your Blue Team to split up due to your 1-3-1, you can take down so many objectives. But Blue Team really playing well in the defensive, not really getting caught that much, and not sacrificing their lives for vision. So if this does go the way it's going right now, Blue Team should be fine in the position that they have been given, especially considering that they are still scaling into that late game team fight. If we look at the items, Vayne finally does have the IE, and he has the rapid fire cannon, and he does have the rage blade. These are all items that will allow him to melt through anybody that he manages to get his hands on. Vel'Koz with the loot and Echo Rylai's, that means that he'll have sticking power to whoever he lands his skill shots on. So if Red Team decide not to split Blue Team up, they will be very hard pressed to try and get this victory off of them.
Alright, so now we do see what you were talking about before. Item queue in the mid. Whoa, Ziploc bag actually caught out here. He should be able to dash over to his AD carry. Dash is denied.
Coming down from the bottom flank, he looks like he's trying to find some carries there, but it doesn't look like Blue Team's having any of it. They go to the mid lane, try to push that wave out in order to get some priority.
And if we toggle our vision back to Blue Team, they don't have any vision in their extended bottom jungle.
But they have enough vision to protect their base, and that's what's really important. They want to just make sure that they don't lose more than they need to here.
Right, they should have never been actually extending that far in the first place to chase down Ziploc bag.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I think that could have actually been a game-ending mistake here, but now we see that Blue Team looking for this base defense now. Lukepaw a little bit caught out.
Trying to get this, but it looks like they're going to be engaging onto Lukepaw. Lukepaw flashes out. Cyclop back goes in with the Recon Arm. It doesn't look like anything's going to come out. Zarma forced to flash out, but he still gets picked up by Sooncheng. That looks like it's going to be a 1 for none. And it looks like Red Team's going to be storming into Blue Team's base. They still do have some ultimates up with the TF ulti and the Garen ulti and the Pyke ultimate. Pyke gets
a really nice hook onto Dumping Potato here. The stun not quite landing. The Zonya's supposed to pop out.
Ziploc bag forced it back out, and it looks like Red Team is going to be forced out of the base.
Whoa, here comes the following unstoppable onslaught.
Yuri immediately goes down to the Vayne. Vayne's going to go on to Sooncheng. Sooncheng forced to go into the GA, and it looks like Ziploc looks like he's just going to be forced to get out of the situation. Sooncheng is going to be taken down immediately out of the GA. But it looks like Ziploc does manage to get a turret down in the bot lane while this is all happening.
And that is just a really clean fight there actually from Goys, because first Scramble was kind of caught out there, and they weren't fully committed, but eventually they said screw it and then we'll ditch our support. So Scramble just kind of fell there. He was able to get the ultimate off, but then kind of this, oh whoa, here comes a re-engage here.
any damage is going to be able to finish him off.
Whoa, a flash out from Sigdot. The heal comes out from Xstormark. Can Xstormark do it? No, falls down to the Comet.
Onto Vayne. Sigdot manages to pull the red card, but it doesn't look like it's going to take out Luclaw, and that's going to be a massive pick for the red team. Vayne down
Xstormark there
45 seconds.
Doesn't actually have the QSS.
I can understand that he doesn't have QSS, you know, he needs damage. He's one of the primary damage sources of this team. What I don't understand is why are you in the jungle when you have no business being there? You have no business trying to contest that red buff. Baron is up soon. You are one of the most important members of your team. If you go down to Baron, it's pretty much the death toll for your team. And it looks like red team are immediately going for that as soon as it is up.
So we see all 5 members now moving into the topside jungle, looking to secure vision around this Baron before it spawns. Just now spawned.
It would take a miracle for blue team to be able to defend this. And it looks like the miracle has come in indecisiveness. Red team not deciding to start the Baron.
I really don't like this hesitation here. I think had they started the Baron when it spawned,
but blue team does have 2 super tanks. Grandma managed to get caught up, but that's just the support. Nothing much else is going to come from that. And it looks like blue team, they do spend a few ultimates on this. Rakan, GF, and Twitch ultimate are all down. If blue team decide to go for this, they can find it, but it doesn't look like they're willing to sacrifice that much for the Baron. And it looks like red team will pick up another Baron in return of Grandma's life. And blue team just sort of stunned, shocked into submission. Taking Jane trying to get some poke onto IDonQ, but IDonQ is just too damn tanky at this point.
And this is the 3rd Infernal Dragon, or actually, sorry, not Infernal Dragon.
This is the 3rd Infernal Dragon of the game, the 2nd for either team.
Right. Well, no, it's Elder.
Oh, no, it's an Elder Dragon.
Yeah. So, this Elder Dragon should be going over to red side, but not if they just decide to end the game through this mid-push.
So, what red team should be looking to do here is that they should have TF split pushing a wave, they should have Garen split pushing another, and they should have Pyke, Twitch, and Rakan all on Elder Dragon. This puts pressure onto the map while they are still getting the objective.
So no vision of Elder Dragon.
Anyway. And it looks like they're going to get another freaking 2 major buffs onto red team. They are looking to end the game here, right here.
And I do actually think this game should never have gone on for as long as it is right now. I think that red team had more than enough opportunities to actually end the game, especially when they got that pick onto Xstormark. There was almost no defense left after that.
Yeah, but on the other hand, I can see how the team would be able to defend it. They still do have the Vel'Koz up, and Vel'Koz does do a considerable amount of AoE damage if you do allow yourself to get hit by those skill shots. So, both teams playing very cautious here in this first game, but it does look like it is going into the favor of red team here.
Okay, so again, no vision here from the side of Goys. They don't actually know who's in that mid lane right now. And if you just let this game go on into the late game, into like the 50-minute mark, and Vayne is sitting with like full items now, this game is just only gonna get harder and harder for red team to actually close out, because the Garen will start to fall off. You do have the stronger con engages. The Pyke will start to fall off as well.
So what I'm seeing here is that red team is trying to set up a 1-4 split push with Garen in the top lane and 4 members in the mid lane. And while I do like the idea that they're trying to split blue team up, I still feel like URA should be going to the bot lane.
I really do think at this point they should just push this mid in him, because IDonQ is drawing so much attention.
IDonQ has just appreciated so much attention from the blue team, and in return, he's going to give them that end down. And it looks like red team trying to get this top inhib as well. Baron and Eldragon still up. Blue team has to be very cautious with any engage that they take here, as it can be turned around in a matter of seconds.
Alright, here comes the ending fight. Luclaw still has the unstoppable force here. Xstormark drops so low. Here comes the first ultimate from UR. Oh, 3 coming out.
He gets 2. He's going to get a 3rd. That's going to be a triple kill to Pyke. And it looks like he's going to be looking for a 4th.
Xstormark with the hero play. Can he do it?
Goes on to the
first kill comes out from Soonchain.
Managed to go down, but in return for Xstormark's GA, and it looks like he's going to be knocked up. No, he misses the knockup, but it looks like he's still going to be taken down by the comment. That looks like game 1 going to red team in a clean 41 minutes slugfest.
So that first match going over to Cloudy Smile. Really well executed from Yura.
While that game did seem very one-sided, I could see some points for blue team, one being the unofficial pentakill in the bot lane, but it did seem like blue team did have moments of opportunity that they had left open. One being when red team had spent the Twisted Fate Twitch and Rakan ulti onto the support, and blue team didn't really have a response for the following Baron.
So before we get into the second game here, I do want to talk about the damage chart. We see that Dumping Potato actually was out damaged by Luke Claw and Sydney Jang. I was really expecting a lot more from this Vel'Koz, especially because he is a long-range mage with that game-defining ultimate, but we saw almost nothing coming out from that Vel'Koz pick.
Yeah, and I feel like that's just a matter of circumstances. In a lot of these team fights, you are kind of left in an awkward position where it really looked like there was no communication between the engages and the follow-up, where Luke Claw would just sort of ulti in return and would have no form of follow-up coming, with sort of Stormmark and Dumping Potato not really being prepared to dump out the damage in those situations.
Alright,
So
so I will be restarting the stream here to get a separate VOD for game 2, so I will be right back.
okay.